Well, the 500 Sprint Car Tour is coming to Nashville this weekend, and that is where you will catch Taylor Ferns. She's the driver of the number 55 Bradford Allen Sprint Car for Taylor Ferns Racing. Again, the action taking place at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway on Saturday afternoon. Taylor, thank you so much for your time and joining us.
Yeah, no, thank you. I'm excited to be here and chat with you guys and talk about the Pro Door Manufacturing 500 Sprint Car Tour race this weekend.
You have so many race fans. There are so many race fans out there. What do you love most about what you do?
So for me, coming from sprint car racing and with an open wheel background, I love everything about motorsports, if you will, as far as the lifestyle, the speed, the adrenaline. And a lot of it also, like your common day workplace, comes back to the people that I work with and that you kind of interact with in the pits, and kind of the networking and relationships that I've built over the past 21 years. And so for me, it's a little bit of everything. And so I'm excited to kind of show that off to the Nashville fan base this weekend.
You know, it blows my mind. I'm looking at you and you were sharing that you've been doing this since the age of 6. So for 21 years now, a form of racing. Where did you get that kind of that inkling to be like, oh, I want to do this? You know, I want to drive a race car when I become an adult.
Yeah, no. So I grew up in a racing family.
Okay.
My maternal uncles raced late models and stock cars. So a complete 180 from the form of racing that I do with open wheel racing. And so I just always kind of was around it. And I felt like I knew at a young age when I was around 4 that I was going to have something to do in motorsports. But since there's not a lot of, especially at that time, visible females within the industry, I wasn't sure what that might look like. And so when I was 6 years old, my dad drove me up to Lansing, Michigan, and I sat in a quarter midget for the first time. And it was instant butterflies. For me, that was my first love. And so, yeah, I've been doing it for 21 years now. I took some time off and I got my bachelor's degree, my master's degree, and I'm finishing up law school now. But, motorsports is a big passion of mine and is a huge foundation of who I am as a person. And so I'm really excited for the race this weekend, and I'm looking forward to racing at the fairgrounds for the first time.
What an inspiration. I can imagine little girls looking up to you saying, I want to do what Taylor does one day. Who do you look up to? Who do you kind of pull from?
Yes. So for me, I've had the opportunity to be mentored by Lynn St. James, who was a pioneer and trailblazer for females within racing. She raced in the Indy 500 a handful of times, and I've been working with her since the age of 12. And so she's had a tremendous impact, not only for females in motorsports, but on my life personally and professionally. Aside from that, I was a big Tony Stewart fan growing up. And so, he kind of came from the USAC and the sprint car racing like I have. And so I've looked up to him my entire career almost as well.
So you've been doing the series for 2 years, am I correct?
Yeah, well, the 500 Sprint Car Tour rebranded last year. So for the tour in general, yes, 2 years, but I've been racing sprint cars since I was 14. So I've been doing it for a long time. I won my first sprint car race that I ever started too. So little fun fact.
Oh, wow. No, but what was that feeling like when you win that first one?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I kind of surprised myself. I mean, I was a 14-year-old girl, right? I'm racing against these grown men. And, my kind of ambition at the beginning of the race was, finish the race. I knew we had a fast car, so try to aim for the top 3 and pass for the lead with like 5 to go. And at the end, I was like, oh my gosh, did I just win this race? My first sprint car race. So,
I did that.
Yeah. And so it surprised myself. But I mean, I've won like probably over 15 sprint car races total in my career. So that was just that just got the ball rolling, if you will.
Well, let's talk about some of your finishes. So like just noting a few and, pop in whenever you want. So like finished 8th in point standings in 2022. Right now, you're currently 7th in points. I'm sorry. What does that mean?
Yes. So throughout the season, the 500 Sprint Car Tour, we race about 9 to 10 races.
Okay.
And so the way points work is that each race you kind of accumulate a certain set of points, right? So for qualifying and your finishes and your main event. And so the points ranking is basically a collection of your entire season. And
Okay.
so, we haven't had a lot of luck the past couple years as far as like cumulatively as our season goes. And so, I always kind of joke and say we're not points chasers. So, I think in that regard, we're always going for the win.
Uh-huh.
And so we don't have to worry about being kind of in the points, right? So we'll compete, we'll try to contend for the win, right?
My husband would be shaking his head right now. He'd be like, I've told you this. I've told you what that means. And then you have best finish of second at Anderson Speedway. That happened on April 8th this year. Best qualifying position of second at Anderson Speedway. That was in October of last year in 2022. That's incredible for you. Are there any that I'm not noting or that I don't have access to?
No, as far as the 500 sprint car tour goes, I mean, those are my best stats. I always try to plug in that like I obviously since the tour rebranded, I've won like auto value sprint car races, which is like basically the same form of stuff that we're doing now. But I know I got to get that 500 tour win, so hopefully you'll come out. Everyone will come out to Nashville and they'll witness it on Saturday.
I'm rooting for you, Taylor. Taylor, yes, take that home. You
Yeah.
are, I mean, you're the driver, you're the one out there behind the wheel, but I'm sure this can't be done without a team.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I'm the team owner too. So I'm the driver and the team owner. So it takes on extra responsibilities, but obviously wouldn't be able to make it to the racetrack without my incredible crew, my crew chief, and all the additional help that we have. And then with, in addition to all my sponsors like Bradford Allen, Mobile One, 1-800-CALL-SAM, there's so many components and complexities that go into racing. And so I'm just so grateful to be in the position that I am today. And hopefully we can park the 55 Bradford Allen sprint car in Victory Lane. And also a huge thank you to Pro Door Manufacturing for helping facilitate this and putting this race on.
Oh, wonderful. And last couple questions for you. What is your warm up? What do you do before getting in to get set for the race? Do you have a routine?
So I guess like right before the race, I'll kind of just keep to myself, if you will, and kind of
Mhm.
think like pre-race thoughts as far as what I might be able to expect or like based on where I'm starting, like maybe map out different ways that the start can go.
Okay.
But I always kind of joke and say, no matter as much as I planned before and they drop the green flag, it always ends up going like some schematic that I didn't even intend on. And so that's racing, right? But yeah,
Yeah.
definitely just try to keep calm and just like come from a place of peace, right? And just make the most out of it.
Oh, that is great. Any advice for young girls out there that may be looking up to you to say, I either want to do that or, they aspire to do something? What can you say to them?
Yeah, for me, as cheesy as it may sound, just follow your passion, and your instincts will tell you what that is. And oddly enough, when I was younger, I didn't even really, I knew I loved racing, right? But kind of it's about the group that you surround yourself with. Like my parents recognized at such a young age that motorsports was my passion. And it honestly truly is like 21 years on. And so it just comes back to pursuing your passion, never giving up. Literally, there will be so many people and obstacles that will be thrown your way in life, aside from like pursuing whatever you want to do. And so I just kind of take those as tests, right? Like, how bad do you want it?
Mhm.
And just overcome it because there will be people trying to come at you or just like things that will try to prevent you from trying to reach your dreams. But you just got to keep going.
Taylor, thank you for your time. We wish you the absolute best this weekend at the 500 sprint car happening at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. Guys, if you're heading out there, look for the number 55 Bradford Allen sprint car for Taylor Ferns Racing. Good luck.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks for having me. It was great to chat with you.
Wonderful chatting with you, and you're welcome. Stick with us here on Mornings on Main Street. We'll have more right after this.